Alright guys, here we go again with our Intro to Solidworks tutorial series. If you remember from our class, this is the bracelet that I built in our class along with you and made the decision that I'm going to have this thing 3D printed. So I wanted to just make a quick video to show you guys how to double check your parts and make sure that they are ready to go for the printer. So anyway, here's our part, and you remember how we made it, and the first thing that I want to do is just double check the size once and for all. So I know that it was built off of a revolve, and I know that the sketch for that revolve is here. If I unfold that original revolve feature, I'll get the sketch and I can just go here to edit sketch, and then I'll remember that I've got some dimensions on here, and right now my dimensions are in inches. If at any point I want to check those in millimeters, I can go down here to the lower right hand corner of my screen and just change this to millimeters, and you see it flips me back to the standard view, and I'll have to exit and enter that sketch again to see, okay, so I've got 40 millimeters, and that's half of the radius of my bracelet. So I'm just going to go here to my digital calipers. I'm going to switch the mode to millimeters and just pull it out 80 millimeters. And just kind of wiggle that around my hand, and I think it's going to be tight, but hopefully I'll be able to squeeze that puppy on there, and then once it's on my wrist I know it's going to be big, and like we said in class, it'll be flashy. So okay, so that's confirmed, and I'll just switch back to inches now, so it's down here in the lower right hand corner. Switch to IPS, there we go, inches, pounds, and seconds. And then the next move here is going to be to go to my evaluate tab. Don't forget, up here in the upper tool ribbon here, if you don't see the evaluate tab, you can right click on any of the other tabs and it will go ahead and show you all of the tabs that are available, and the ones that are shown with a little check mark. And if you want to add or delete any of those tabs, you can just click on them or unclick them to get them out of your way. So there's that. Okay, so then I'm going to go to mass properties, and I'm just going to click on mass properties, and I'll click on the part itself. There we go. And I'm going to take a look here, and it says it's only 0.24 cubic inches. Volume is the thing that I'm looking for right here. And so that is not even a single cubic inch, which is a little bit suspicious to me. But I'll go back in here and take a look at some of the other features here. If I go back to that original sketch in the revolve and I edit that, I realize that the depth of this thing is 0.16 of an inch. Height is about a half an inch. So I'll go back to my calipers here and I'll just check that out. And you know, if I look at my caliper and open it up to, well, we'll say 0.47 of an inch, I realize that this bracelet it's really small. It's a thin, super thin little band, 0.16 of an inch. I'm just adjusting my caliper now. Is very, very thin. So that's fine with me, and I'm not opposed to that, considering that the concept behind this bracelet was to eventually have this thing made out of a precious metal. Like, I think the render we used in class was gold, and it would be cool, I think, to see this thing out of platinum or something like that. So in that case, we don't want a very large body or volume. And also, I don't want to spend too much on this because this is my first round of what I hope will be a bracelet project that will continue on into several more iterations. And so this is just my first prototype. So if it is too small, well, that's fine. If it turns out to be too brittle to be printed on the machine, well, then we'll print it out anyway, and we'll break it, and we'll figure out what we need to do next. So let's do that. Okay, so I'm just going to exit out of this sketch, and I'm just going to say, okay, I'm happy with this. Alright, so the only thing you have to do to prepare your file and create that STL file is go up to File and Save As. And let me just go here to my desktop. Go here to Desktop Stuff. I have a file for our class right there. And there we go, Desktop Stuff. We'll go Solidworks. Here's a file, STL. And I'm just going to save this with the correct naming structure, which is going to be my name. And I'm going to do an underscore. And I'll do another underscore. And I'm going to print this on the Z Corp, which, if you remember, is the powder printer. And the reason that I'm going to do that is because it's cheapest, one, and because I Don't want to have to deal with the concept of breaking off my support material, because I know this thing is going to be very thin and small. I want to just be able to blast this thing with a little jet of air and have it clean from there on out. So I'm then going to add the date, which I have to check. What is the date today? It is 2/4. So we'll just enter that in numerically here, 2/4, and it is 2014. So that is good. I'm going to hit save. Here we go. And I did not do it correctly. So that is the part file. Excuse me. I'm going to go save as again and show you guys what I did wrong there. So I saved the part file, and there you go. It even tells me right here, if I open this up, SolidWorks part document. Okay, what we didn't do there, I guess I was so concerned figuring out the date, and I guess being distracted by this gentleman here on my deck with a lawnmower or a blower, whatever. I forgot to change it to the STL file. So you just go here to save as type, go to STL, and we'll go ahead and you can see I have a number of these other ones. These are some of the dog toys I showed you in class. So now I have the bracelet, and we're happy to go. So hit save, and this is what I was looking for originally. What you see is that SolidWorks transforms your solid model into a series of triangles and polygons, and that is a universally read file. That is your STL file, and it gives you some information about it here, and you just say yes, and you're good to go. So that's a good real life sort of scenario, right? We want to save the part file, of course, because if we do want to make any changes to this file later on, which we definitely will, we're going to need to have that part file saved along with the STL. The part file is the only one that can be adjusted. Now, an STL file, that's sort of like flattening your Photoshop file or something like that. It's an uneditable file that can only be read by the 3D printer. You can't open an STL file, back up again, and edit it, and then resubmit it. You have to open up the part file and then save as an STL from there. So that's all good to know. And so we're good. We're good. So that's it. Okay? So go ahead and do that with whatever design it is that you finally decide on. I'm going to send this off to Chris in an email as an attachment, and I'll get myself a quote before I do it. And hopefully we can get this puppy printed out pretty quick here, and we'll all get a chance to look at it before you know it. So, okay. Thanks for watching, and I will talk to you in the next one.